Can you still hear me? Say something again? No, I can't hear your audio.
How about now? Yo, what's
Like
up?
what I could hear was the keyboard clicks on the YouTube side, but
Oh,
yeah,
okay. Okay. So I think it's better if we do the mic on the stream. Okay, so let me just take off. Yeah. Oh, so there's like a little echo because there's like a little latency on the live stream, so it's gonna be confusing. Um, cool. So we're live. Should I put some music up in here?
yeah. I just closed my tab for the YouTube because it's gonna give me. I was
Yeah.
listening to.
Okay. Okay. Hold up. Yeah, maybe I asked Peeps to show up. I think Joey said maybe. Max, I think it's like super late for him.
He
But
said, "Life."
yeah, different time zone. But yeah, I went hard with like I don't know, I tweeted it, I shared it on like Warpcast, like the
Mm.
Farcaster client, just to see if there's engagement there. But we'll see. Should we just like start?
I don't mind.
Yeah, cool. Wait, I'm gonna make a little addition to saying that you're here. Though, and I'll choose a color. Let's say purple. Boom. Cool. I mean, yeah. So this is like the layout that I had for what we could be working on. I think like with the first section, like voice of public assembly, like it goes back to like I was looking like in the forum. I think there was one forum post that you made about like just articulating like what does PA stand for. I mean, we could revisit that if that's like a good starting point. I added it as like a resource in the resource section as a pre-read, but I'm down to just look at it and then we could just kind of
You know what? I'm actually gonna blow your mind. You have to start from the Figma that I just sent you in your what is it called in your email. I just added you to Figma that says
oh,
public assembly, and you should
okay,
go to where it says references.
okay. I'm gonna check it out. Oh, that's like the beginning. Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's super in depth.
Early days. I guess we're not sharing this publicly, right? I mean, yeah, I could just look at it and like, ooh, okay. I think
Uh,
this is actually the first one. You know, the first one that says new Lifeline just dropped. I just
mm-hmm.
remember seeing like very early on. I don't know how I end up. I think I followed Joey at one point just randomly because he posted something cool. But I
Mm-hmm.
think this is like one of the first like mention of PA or something that I saw was Joey like retweeting something and it said 5 p.m. in Montreal. I'm like, no way, this guy's in Montreal. Because Joey's so
Mm-hmm.
low key, like he doesn't even like I didn't even know how he looked like until I first time I met him.
No, I
But I
think
think
actually it's chill to share because it's been a minute. It's a public document, and then it's also you got to remember that when people watch this live stream, they're probably not going to watch until a year later. So we're really just creating archives. So the people that do
yeah,
come in will just be super lucky and super alphaed up. You know,
100%. So hold up, I'm gonna stop sharing the Fig Jam and I'm gonna share yeah,
and we
the
can
one
go
that you
through all
just
the
yeah,
topics. I
that'd
don't
be
think we're gonna
cool.
get everything done today, but I do want you to like kind of go through down memory lane so you're like really
Yeah,
aware of what's going on.
cool. Um,
It also says not confidential.
yeah, so yeah, that's like a disclaimer.
So
Cool.
go to the page where it says references on the side.
References. Yes. Oh, snap. Never saw this. This is so cool.
Yeah, go just get into it really. Like I don't really know what I can start like explaining, but our whole thing is like our whole thing is like infrastructure for public goods and like hyperstructures. Like
Mm,
we really started from the Zora API hackathon and like the Zora ETH Global hackathon. And
cool.
it was just like a lot of contributors that had like minds creating really, really cool music tech. We didn't, not all of us won, but it was just like, yo, these ideas are so fucking fire. And
Mm,
like we kind of had some synergy on some stuff that we were thinking about, or like new products for public assembly. So like we have like all the links on the PA homepage that basically were inspiring us in the early days. A lot of us, like we pay a lot of homage to Un Un, one of Max's like collective people in his network, because they
yeah.
were like the first products that really, really
I think I
came out.
saw this too. I mean, I
Yeah,
think I saw. Did they do like during one of the hackathons? Did they do like a presentation or something?
yeah, they did a presentation. It's like on a private link on the ETH Global like website, which is crazy because they were actually like, in the running. I don't know what happened with that, but like
Yeah.
it was really just like giving power to micro communities and niches and creating that hyper local energy. Um,
Mm,
like, there's hyperstructures, but there's also like where can we find synastry for local communities that don't want to be aggregated into these platforms, and that's where curation comes from, because like when you curate, you're actually paying attention to the individual people like around you. And
right.
yeah, there's just like a whole, now that we're like kind of coming to like the blog era, like,
Mm,
and people are tired of like social media algorithms, and like discovery isn't working as well. We need to kind of
right.
like harness that new blog era energy on the Ethereum network in the early days.
Mm,
um and that's what it was. So
yeah.
I'm gonna stop talking, but there also is just so much
Yeah.
context that you can kind of
It's
like get
yeah.
lost.
It's crazy because it's like a lot of like for me personally, like this is a lot of like let's say like Other Internet,
Hmm.
Meta Label, like these are all stuff that I resonated before even meeting you guys. And it's like
Hmm.
it's just cool that there's these certain themes that just like attract people. And it's like we had no kind of like correlation with each other before, but we just got like my backstory actually like Feltzine, like shout out to
Hmm.
John, but like
Hmm.
my first my first mint was like I think it was like February. It was like early Zora, and
Hmm.
gas fees were just so crazy high. And
Hmm.
John posted this thing about like, yo, whoever wants like a bit of like ETH to cover their first gas or their first mint, like hit me up. And I didn't know John, and I just like hit him up, and he like literally just sponsored my first mint.
That's
So
so
yeah,
far.
yeah, respect to Feltine. Like these guys are like they're so cool. Yeah. Yo, this is so cool. And yeah, and also yeah, I watched this talk too. The Eugene Angelo and Reggie James. Like this was
when
like
when we were doing our first sprint for Neo Sound, that was like required watch. Like I remember like I had to take notes on it. Not I had to, but I did, because I was like, I want to
yeah,
be in the same mindset as these people.
mm,
So the Mars
for
talk
real.
is definitely like a North Star in a way.
Mm,
Because it's also like building, I guess like the main theme from that talk was like giving people hope again to build for the future. And like it's like okay,
mm,
so like I guess the hope that gave us a lot of like ideas when we were building out Neo Sound is just like, yo, like we're not gonna wait for like these organizations to give us the go to create like something manifold level, because it is like an actual like contract
right.
layer that is accessible to just the normal creative, so they can have their own standalone portfolio site instead of depending on platforms, right?
Mm,
And
100%.
I don't know where I'm going with this, but like building outside of the norm is
Yeah,
what gave me a lot of excitement for public assembly. Like,
100%. Yeah, same. It's like I guess it goes back to like that it's like such a simple tagline, which is like create what's missing. It's like what do you don't see in the space, like just build it. And this whole space is based on like making your own tools and like open source. And yeah, for me too, like I got really attracted about like me not seeing things that I wanted in the kind of environments that I was, but also just like in terms of like representation too. Like I worked in places where it's like mainly just old white guys just dictating
Mhm.
what's like what I have to do and like what I've and I just didn't see my own culture and my own identity played into the current state
Mhm.
where I was. And I just kind of like, yeah, I feel like at that point I just got attracted to like decentralization and building other spaces. And yeah, it's
Also,
just like,
like a lot of how I felt about building for PA was building for the guy that's in the middle of the ocean, the independent
mm,
contributor that's not, like I feel like now developers are also like artists because you can be signed to one company or like another company, but to be an independent developer or independent technology creator in
mm,
Web3 also is like really, really expensive, but also
yeah,
like it's like there's a pipeline that you're going down once you want to branch out into more. And it's just like how we give creative technologists more sovereignty to just do
100%.
what they want to do, um, and not
Yeah.
subscribe to, like if we can get to a point where people are like building their own protocols from taking like 2% from Sound XYZ,
Mm,
2% from Assembly Press, 2% from Zora, that is like a dream. Like
yeah.
people can be
Yeah.
like, this is a docs, you know, build here.
100%.
I have my
Yeah.
own engine for my own shit. Like,
Yeah. Yo, that's so cool. Yeah, no, 100%. I think that, but that, I feel like that mental framework too is like, it's hard to understand. Like, I get it, and I feel like you get it, and like a lot of people that we were around, like, get it too. And I don't know, I always feel like it's like we need to like start building more stuff and like just sharing it more publicly for people to get more
it's
attracted to it.
weird stuff. Like when we were doing like Neo Sound, it was like the weirdest shit ever to just like build a. Imagine like okay, you know what like Isaac and Neocry are doing? They're like just building a layer two in public. Like that
Yeah.
is like when people see that on the timeline. It's like they're looking at like a UFO. Like
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
is legal? Like you know what I'm trying to say? And in a lot of
Yeah.
ways,
Yeah.
it's still gray area of what we can do, but it's getting better.
Yeah.
But it's very risky to build in public. So it's like it's what it's necessary to
Mhm.
create the foundation for
Yeah.
where people can experiment safely. Like if
Yeah.
there's not those few, like brave people that do it, it's never gonna be like normal.
Yeah. 100%. I totally agree on that.
I'm
Yo,
gonna
this
stop
is so.
talking for a sec because I
Yeah.
have to remember this on this board. Like it's
Yeah.
just so
Yeah, there's just like so much like I love how you guys broke it down too. It's like you didn't only just share the links, you just broke down the core, like like you took quotes and like core ideas that like I think, yeah, I remember reading these too on my own time, and it just like I remember when I just discovered a lot of this stuff, this literature, it was I just felt very like in my own bubble, and there was like even in Montreal, there's not a lot of like Web3 people that could talk about this stuff. So I remember like reaching out to people online or DM on Twitters, and I didn't really do that before.
mhm.
But I remember for a while I was just like, yo, am I just like a complete degen? Like just like no, I have no like, am I just
No
going,
warning.
you know? But it's cool that like going fast forward to now, like these are like so like fundamental, like I don't know, foundation to a lot of the ideas that I'm gravitating towards now. And yeah, it's just cool to see that you guys are on the same path too. Um,
Do you have a deep session you want to put on a door dot link so we can like get into this
yeah,
for like
yeah,
10 minutes or
yeah,
15?
100%, 100%. Um, where do I put the audio
Okay,
again?
I'm gonna mute myself for a second.
Yeah, no, for sure. Um, part one. But I'm gonna keep looking at these just for a while. Oh snap! This is like now. So fire.
So one of our early bits is actually
Wait, let me just put the music down. Say that again.
yeah, one of our early mints is like we did this. Like I forgot which one it was. But it's on the homepage. It's like if you go down all the way to the archives, it's like that Figma of let me try and see if I can put it in the chat. But there's a lot of Drake references. I honestly know that's Joey from
Yeah.
Canada.
I mean, you remember that there was like this video I saw at one point that you guys minted, which was like, it was just like a working, like you guys just like working on your computers or just, I don't know. I remember seeing a mint that was like a work in public kind of mint.
It was probably right after like the culminating like visual for the drop for DSM.
Okay.
It was like we all got together in person, and honestly, there was supposed to be like a documentary that was coming from the Neon Sound Mint, but like the Neon Sound like deployment of that entire sprint. It was very beautifully curated, but one of those visuals was really nice. It's Dane, it's Salif, and it's Max. You know,
Sick. Yeah. D-Day. Yeah, no, and I remember for me, like not being there at that time, it was just like seeing that like kind of energy just bubbling was cool because it just kind of like resonated with a lot of the stuff that I want to see more in the space, which is like on-chain coordination or just like groups of people just putting stuff out. I don't know. It was a cool vibe. Nice. Just to go back to the, do you want to talk about this a bit more? Like what was no, not the, yeah, like maybe we could talk about this and then we could go back to the other Fig Jam. But I think this like create what's missing tag could be a kind of like good segue into like kind of opening the door of like what is public assembly or like how, what is like the ethos, you know, like how did this come to be like?
so I can only give my perspective because Create What's Missing honestly was kind of like Max's independent brand. And we definitely like just hopped onto that in my eyes. So essentially that means is perpetual energy towards building and exploring. Like Creo's missing is exploration. Creo's missing is continuously asking questions from others. um Creo's missing is literally just doing radical stuff like posting your loom while you're like creating money printers and NFT platforms. And yeah, create, talk into space,
Yeah,
just keep
it's like that.
keep searching, and whoever um PA
Sorry.
has like a garden theory, kind of like I always used to say there's like a PA in a zine interview. The line that people remember me for is when I say like being a Web3 is like a dark forest. I kind of wish I didn't say that because
Why? I mean, I was gonna say that's actually what I remember before even meeting you. That's like I was like I associated that idea with Val, um, and then
yeah, it is it's like I think that is a very I think it's lack mindset because Web3 is a garden. It's not,
mm,
it's still things growing, but as you find more conviction for what great products and experiences feel like, more light
mhm,
comes out to everything that is growing right now.
mhm,
But it's been like in different protocols, like especially like with Lens and stuff.
mm,
Um, there's always going to be references to things growing, ecology, and then just how like things foster naturally. I don't know how to say this without sounding like fake deep, but like
no, no, no. It's kind of I don't know, like because for me, I go back to like that idea, and I didn't know it at the time, but for me, it's very tied in with like just like open source culture, which is kind of like you could just build things, but in a way where it's like there's not like a company just coming and being like, hey, we're gonna hire you guys to build this thing for us, and then you get paid for it, and that's it. I feel like it comes down to this idea of like you build stuff that you could share with others, but there's no like
mm-hmm.
I don't know
Create was
progressive
yeah. I would
pipeline.
say that Create What's Missing came from the goal to create a 24/7 hour hackathon. Like, how can we
Mm,
get that very high stimulative energy where creatives are just building? So, like, obviously, one of the goals for Public Assembly is going to be a hackathon. Um, but like on the way up there, we have to just make sure like people have enough resources to like even do Google searches because
mm,
um, Google searches within our archives. Like, yeah.
right, right. Yeah, no, I think there's like I feel like once the open blog thing just starts working and we could just like be able to like blog like just have it's like that thing where sometimes I was gonna do a write up of my hackathon experience at Waterloo. And I have it like in a Notion page right now, but I'm like there's so much stuff that I'm saving for like when we could start blogging about it. And I feel like people that enter public assembly could just kind of see all of this like lore or just like historical like references to like how this thing came to be, and it's just going to be easier for people to get context. Yeah, but no, I get it. I get it.
It's like IKEA level catalog digital antiques. Support your local. It's
Yeah,
also support your local protocol.
business. Yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
support your
Yeah,
local GitHub repository. like
yeah.
like a big. I said in the last live stream that we had our like record store era with Neo Sound, and then we opened it
Mm,
up to not just a record store, a
mm,
library, and
mm.
like now with like our database, it can be through Wikipedia, it can be an engine, it can
Yeah.
be all those other things. But I think that is where today points to like we have created things. The things are still missing, right?
Mhm.
We've created things that also stimulate creation of other things. And I do
Yeah.
think that in our branding message, we should specifically speak to protocol. Like we should specifically speak to the fact that we're giving infrastructure for creativity, even
Mm-hmm.
giving layers for like organizations like Zora to adopt as well. And if I'm speaking fast, this is recorded, but like
Right.
um, things have been created quite literally. Like it's not really um, a lot of like I said in the forum post, some things were like invisible before because like we have to create necessary bridges so people can interpret code even
Mm-hmm.
if they're not like a highly technical. Um, because a lot of like our products are lines of code right now.
Right.
Um,
Right. Right.
and
It is like I remember mentioning it to Max or maybe Salif at one point of like in the beginning it was hard for me to like understand what PA was about because there was like it was like mostly code or just stuff on GitHub or just all this extra context I didn't have. But then it made sense of like if you do the digging or like you spend a bit of time like researching stuff, like you start connecting the dots. And I agree with that method because like I've seen other DAOs where like they put a lot of effort into like onboarding, but I don't think that's like the best. Like it is good like someone to be a touch point person and onboard him and just like give all those resources. But I feel like a lot of people that are attracted to public assembly right now is like they want to build stuff, but they're also independent enough that they could do their own thing. And it's just like, yeah, like I wouldn't want to make like a clear um like, oh, if you want to build a protocol or if you want to build whatever, like something like this is the steps to do it. Like, no, I feel like that would be too like just
very
handing down the spoon.
misleading. I want to say that this goes off the record. Like this is not professional at all. But I feel like at
Mm,
some level, it is misleading to hold somebody's hand for a specific amount of time and then go
mm,
through like that's I said this in an interview, but
mm,
like there's a specific level of Web3 where they say this is how you make an NFT platform. This is how
mm,
get some girly. But then it's like
mm.
it drops. Like what else? Like then there's
Yeah.
like this open sea of things that you're not necessarily prepared to understand. Like
Mm,
so, like that is
yeah.
the bridge between like the junior developer and like the senior developer because there's so much more in the dark. And
Mm,
I'll also put this on as a resource as what is it? What is it? Was it
yeah.
just like meta language for um like
That I
code?
agree. Yeah, like it like kind of like having a layer of education to it, right? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yes, yes, but the education also needs to have a meta language of its own, and that's also that's why I'm also like, what is the voice?
Mm,
So I guess my I don't want to talk in circles, but I guess my focus for today is like we know what we want to say. We have things that we want to communicate, but what is their stand? What is their stance? What is PA's
mm,
stance? What is their personality? But it's also like what is not so prescriptive because we still are headless and it can go in any different direction.
mm.
Um,
Yeah, for sure. Um,
Joey is
maybe
in it. So if you wanted to ask a question on like the V1 Figma, I'm
yeah.
pretty sure he can like type for like probably like the next 5 minutes, but he can't get my voice. So.
Oh, I just saw the chat. You get to see my Web two PFP then. Not right, so I can't help but here to chat for a little. Sick. Um, yeah. Um, what was I gonna say? Sorry, I got distracted. Could you say that last thing you just said? My bad.
Um,
When you were talking about, and we were like on a good thread where you said like defining a bit of the values of what PA is. Is that what you
the
said?
voice itself, because we do have our values, I believe so. It's just like character, personality,
Mm,
um, form, but we're formless. So
mm,
what has actually occurred in history that has given form to things, but still remain formless in
mm.
like
Yeah,
totality?
I think it's um, like right now looking at like the last like I guess 6 to 8 months of PA, how there's been there was like neo sound and then there was like flexible and then now there's this phase where there's like mutual and life world are like doing their own thing but they're still part of like PA's like ecosystem, and I think there's this interesting development where like I feel like not to say that public assembly is becoming like an institution, but I really like that idea of what Joey mentioned at one point in the forum post of it being a sanctuary. Um, but then that goes back to just kind of it feels like the way I'm like thinking about PA right now, it feels like a space. You know, it's not like a company or like a moving vehicle. It's becoming this like hub for people to come and like just like either build relationships or just like share knowledge. And I that's like what my like and but then the people that are attracted to PA right now, and I think about the people that like jump on the town hall meetings are like all people that have some kind of like knowledge of Web3 already, but they don't have like I don't know like a corner of the internet where they could just like build on that. And I feel like that's what public assembly is building to be.
A safe space, like a
Yeah.
safe space to be very, very, very advantageous, like, and dream like really big. Like
Yeah,
if you
100%.
say that you want to launch like even like a layer 3, like as an independent contributor, you should feel very well supported enough to do that.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
it's open and permissionless. We have to like really keep on. We literally have to put a pedal. Like, well, I guess I don't know this. We really have to hold permissionless as a culture to be true at all times,
100%.
because it's what keeps people safe at the sometimes. But
Yeah, no. I wait. I just want to write that down. Permissionless as a culture, because I do see like I don't know. I don't want to name brands or companies, but like I feel like now, like in the bear market, I just saw like some DAOs or whatever just kind of pivoting more towards like, yeah, we're just collective, and because we need funding, we have to like share a bit of like the values of like the stakeholders or funding us, and like I don't know, it just makes it like where there's like I wouldn't want like there to be a third party influence. And I think that going back to how we decided to like remove the founder allocation and just be this own kind of entity makes it interesting where we could like you said, like create a space where there's no ceiling for like what you want to imagine, what you want to create. Yeah, no, that was really well said. What you just said. Well, I'm just gonna look back to the chat. So feel free to loop me in. Told them about our North Star and the Morse Talk era of PA. Maybe a way to like to go back to how we're trying to create like a one pager. To should we release like a manifesto? I don't know if you guys ever did this, but like a PA kind of like white paper in some sort.
there's like when trying to create like a manifesto for a headless brand, there's always been like a collapse of it gets too, I don't know how to say it, but it just gets
Too vague.
expressive. Like it's either like it's super vague, which we kind of do. Like we very strategically we mean everything that we say on the PA homepage, but it's very strategic in the vagueness because it is supposed to be open. So like as you see, manifestos work really well for our subhouse, and things like Mutual or things like Life World and stuff. But as of for us, manifesto, like, and this is literally just my opinion. I don't care ultimately, but Joey said it's literally like in contrast. It is in contrast to what
100%.
we're trying to create. It's like it makes you think for hours. Like this is PA in its own. We're literally like it really creates a thought loop that is like very never ending when you're trying to like energy to all these things.
Right. Okay, so maybe not manifest is the word I'm thinking about, but it's just it ties back to like how like here I was doing like an outline of like what the press kit would look like, and there's like the about us of like what PA is and then how to join, but how do we make it more obvious that people could jump in and like without defining it as like it's this one entity or this physical like this thing. It's also it goes back to like how do you get people that don't know us to feel like, hey, I want to be part of this, you know? Because I think like so far most of the people that were in PA and maybe that is like a bit of like one of us kind of looping a friend or someone else, but it would be cool to find a way to like communicate that like there's PA and what it stands for, and then you could also join. You know, I think that's what I was thinking about a manifesto is kind of like a call to action to be like, hey, if this is in line with what you want to see more in the space, like you could be part of it too. You know, I think that's what I'm trying to get to. What do you think? Are more of the side of manifestos force you to define, which is a helpful exercise for clarifying intent internally, but less important as a piece of text available for public consumption? True.
I'm pondering that answer.
Yeah, same. And when I think about that, I'm always like, my mind goes to like, what are examples of that already in the space? But I don't.
I didn't really know Zora's Manifesto before, like actually using their tools. That's how I know.
Oh,
Like
okay.
I never. And if I went to Zora's, I didn't find Zora's Manifesto until maybe like 6 or 8 months after.
Okay.
Like I already knew that I wanted to be a part of the cool things that like they were doing.
Yeah. It had like this.
Mhm.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say it had like back then it had this kind of like cult energy where, because I remember when the time that Zora just came on, like in the space, there was also like it really defined itself as like a marketplace, an NFT marketplace, and there was like Foundation that was happening. There's Rarible, and it was just kind of seeing all these different like entities that are within Web3 just popping out. And I remember the manifesto came out, and it was just like, oh, yo, this feels very. I don't know. There was this like punk energy to it, where it's just like, let's break the internet and like make it new again, you know. And I feel like that's what the manifesto was at that time. But it's interesting to see of like, as things were built on like building blocks on top of it, like it just kind of got buried. Where like, I'm sure right now, if you just kind of like stumble into Zora, you'll have no idea what that was, you know. But yeah, sorry, I was just like rambling on. Joey said, I think something that's really exciting is that with Assembly Press, there is now a clear CTA to direct people to. Yeah, 100%. So I feel like that would open the door to just contribution, because there's a clear direct like, hey, you want to work on this thing as Assembly Press, or I don't know, if you want to see this come to life, help us out, join whatever. But I mean, then that would go back to like, we have to find a way of communicating Assembly Press in a clear way, you know.
I think of Assembly Press for I think of Public Assembly as what the Ethereum Foundation is for Ethereum. They are all congregating to like advance and add code and add solutions and add more capabilities to Ethereum as like a whole. This is so like
yeah, I agree with that. So what is well, I'm just going to look up how do they define themselves, Ethereum.
How do they define themselves? That's actually what I was like, yo, just pull up the screen on Ethereum Foundation. Yeah. Like,
I'm going to share the page.
Because when you think about Ethereum in general, like it is so many things. And it just says so many things.
And it's interesting too that, because I've seen this happen with other DAOs where a lot of like, I'm thinking about FWB, for example, where they just recently pivoted to kind of like labeling themselves as a nonprofit, like a UNA, and us too, actually, where we are UNA and Ethereum Foundation too. And there's this kind of like, yeah, similarity to it, even if it's not a company or even a traditional nonprofit. Their role is not to control or lead Ethereum, nor are they the only organization that funds critical development of Ethereum-related technologies. Huh. This is kind of vague, but it's still like interesting where the one distinction here is they're trying to say that they're not the only one. They're called Ethereum Foundation, but they could be other Ethereum foundations with maybe a different name doing something similar. But I feel like going back to PA, it's kind of like saying that like, yo, this is not just the one place that's supporting all these initiatives. There could be multiple, but we're just like, I guess, focusing on that right now. There's yeah, they actually have a manifesto info text. Well, recently I was looking at their website and they have I could actually just share it. I found it interesting that right now, if you go on their website and you scroll down, they actually have a UNA agreement at the bottom. But if they had an original manifesto, I don't think so. I think they had a code of conduct at one point. But yeah, I'm not gonna click on it. You got anyone can check it out. But it's interesting that they put that out recently.
I also think FWB's code of conduct also came about because there's just like a lot of like energy and there's like a lot of energy in the people like in the Discord.
Right. But it was also like I remember actually I found like this loophole of I got into FWB without ever getting into tokens because I found there was this token called the essay token, which was like can you click on the FWB wiki? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it brings you to. Oh yeah, they do have a manifesto. Interesting. But this was, I think, defined like over time. It wasn't like FWB started and then it was like at one point there was just like a lot of people already in it, and they're like, we should have a manifesto. But still, it's interesting how they define themselves because they're talking about like people, like a collective, for example, of individuals working within like technology, blockchain technology, in an open system. So I'm just going to read this for a bit. I never saw this. Then this means what's said in FWB stays in FWB. It's like Fight Club kind of vibes. Oh, you don't even see my screen. Sorry. I have to like share it individually. But yeah, this is the FWB wiki page if you want to check it out. I'm gonna go back to the Fig Jam if that's cool. Permissionless culture.
All right, I'm thinking out loud.
Yeah, go for it.
I think AP now being a full stack server, we can actually start considering coming to us a public infrastructure maintained and developed by the public openly. I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I was typing that up where I feel like if this was like an about section, just talking about like what public assembly is, like that wording of like open source infrastructure could be an easier way to frame how it exists. And I feel like when Assembly Press like comes out and we could actually see that being used in public, that would just like solidify that, you know?
How like it's also like how narrative driven does PA strive to be while communicating with other people?
Wait, I'm having trouble like hearing you. I'm not sure if that's the music actually. Sorry. Let me pause the music for a
Can you hear me?
second. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I was saying how narrative driven does PA actually want to be, like when communicating with us to the public? Like, I think it started off very, very like visual, and now it's like, all right, we're just gonna like, boom, we have with PRs, but do we want to still give a blankets to, you know what I'm trying to say? Like, is it just gonna be a
Yeah,
little, or is it still gonna be a little like? Is there any storytelling that I actually need to do?
I think because right now the cool thing is that, you know, there are projects that are like coming out of public assembly, like mutual or like there's like work that's out there that could be like this is the like I don't think we need to tell the narrative as much of like yeah I don't know just there's just like more to show now where before I feel like there was kind of like just neo sound and it was just shaping up to be but now there's like examples of like things that are coming out of PA so the narrative is just being better I feel like it's more being like more explicit and talking about that to show like hey mutual and public assembly is doing an event and then you have like this presence that's being built because I think like when with a narrative sometimes when you're just like building an online narrative it could be tied in a lot with like specific individuals like you know what I mean like it's just kind of like being when you're seeing it out in person it's like one person talking about the brand or the infrastructure and then that just kind of is like there's like a microphone there where just like this person's talking about it and he's telling the brand what it is. But I feel like if we just show the work and communicate that better, it's going to be easier for
Yeah.
people to grasp.
I also think about like, it's funny, but I was like, maybe you just need like a mascot.
If wait, I'm having trouble hearing you again. I'm going to stop the music for a second just because
You're good.
there's like a yeah, I think it's good. I can hear
No,
you.
I was saying that public assembly needs like a mascot. We actually we don't have a logo, like
Yeah.
very strategically. But like even if there's not that one sole person like talking about PA in the open, like is there symbolism?
It's
You know,
yeah. You're right. I mean, it's kind of like, you know how like Party Dow has like that little whatever
Who
avatar. Or,
like that's so cute, but I'm not.
yeah,
I don't know. That's
yeah, no, I know what you mean. I wouldn't. I see it more of like I wouldn't have like a little avatar, but it's more like, you know how Arena has just those like those two stars,
Mhm.
and it's kind of like if you go to the page right now, Arena is more. It just feels like it's not run by one person, or like, or it's like I don't know. It's just it's vague, but without being like it's just kind of like there to like um I don't know how to say this, but to lead the brand together, but not to like define it. You know, I don't know. I feel like this is a Joey question. We need Joey to like drop some crazy concept. But you're right. There's no logo at the moment. That's that P or like the what's in the Figma right now. Um, hmm. Maybe we should just do like a design logo design session, open kind of like live stream. I don't know. I would love to do that, but
I
I
was gonna
think
say
it's
should just create branding for Assembly Press
yeah,
as a product, like literally like push that.
true.
That's what I thought you were gonna say.
Oh,
And narrative for Assembly Press is a little bit more in reach than I'm gonna
yeah, that
try my
would
best
be
to finish. I'm gonna add something to all of the sticky notes on the Figma
okay.
just to
Cool.
get my ideas flowing. But I did want to think out loud. But I forgot what I was gonna say. I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in and type some stuff too, just because I don't want to forget this. What do we need? One forms on the blog. Just answering Joey in the chat right now. On that last question about like marketing in general to the public, I think it just goes back to how we were talking during the town hall of like right now, like there's not a press kit or like stuff that we could send out. That I feel like that would be helpful, but it doesn't have to be like marketing campaign style where we're just like we have like this whole strategy behind it, but we should have like a minimal viable product of like this is what PA is, and then communicate that with like if we do like speaking or more like stuff for the public.
Yeah, like if we do a public assembly event, what are the actual visuals that we are dedicated to showing other people? Like if I
Mhm. I
or
think that
just
would yeah. Let's I guess like and it's a good opportunity. There's like something happening in Paris right now with Public Assembly, and then there's FWB Fest. Like we should like really pay attention of trying to document that as clearly as we can. Like meaning that I'm sure there's going to be like people like photographers or media stuff that's going to be around, but just kind of collecting that information so that we have it as well, and that like we could like create a visual story of like, hey, we were at Paris in 2023. We were at FWB Fest, the second one. You know, just like that timeline should be documented. But yeah, you were going to say something? Did I cut you off?
No, I'm good.
Okay. But yeah, I was just answering Joey in the chat. And yeah, the other question were, what would we want or need for the PA website to be? I think that could be a good conversation to have with Niche when she is planning to do that session of like redesign the website. Yeah, I think it's like as it is right now, where there's just kind of like the about the archive and the public assembly, like the auction page. It would be cool to have more more visibility on the proposals. That's just one thing that I was thinking about, where just like, you know, like there isn't like when we have discussions about proposals or just like conversations during the town hall, they're all on the forum. But maybe moving forward with
There used to be like a release visual for every time like PA did something. It wasn't just like, you know, words and stuff, and that was like also strategic.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. What kind of like whatever. Well, this is not like every time PA does something, but it just like it could be like quarterly or like bi-yearly too, of just kind of like taking everything that happened in the first 2 quarters of the year and like compressing that as like TLDR of like this is what PA was about, and then having like that information at hand that we could send off to people whenever people want to know more about PA. You know, that's what I meant before. Sorry, I'm also like thinking out loud too, so maybe we're not talking about the same thing. Oh, I just saw Danny's like new merch ideas.
Also wanted to ask, did you go through the Zora pre-brand Figma for the live stream that they did like 3 years
ago? I think funny enough, I think that's around the time that I found out about. I remember like seeing that and like I didn't pop in because I was like doing something else, but I did check it out. It's pretty cool. Oh, I didn't even know you could do this. You could see a Figma deck within a Figma. That's crazy.
Yeah, it's a really cool feature.
Yeah.
You can't change pages though, so there's like another page of their like exploration on
Oh, wait, let me open it somewhere else.
yeah, I was watching I actually watched some of the live streams. I watched all the live streams, I'm not gonna lie. But I was watching it before I got on here.
Oh, I didn't watch the video though. I just remember seeing the deck. Um,
I can post the videos of this video.
oh wow, they have there's a page where there's like language, and it's like it's kind of like what we were talking about before, but like
With
the
meta,
manifest.
yeah,
Sorry.
I was talking about meta language to
Yeah.
bridge code to people.
Mm. Yeah, just looking at your questions, Joey. Could the open blog and the website be combined? And how much of the website would emphasize the governance side of PA versus the development of AP as our core focus? Mm. Like, kind of like the way I see it right now is, let's say when AP is ready to go, it would be like you go on public assembly and there's like the kind of structure where it is right now, where there's like the governance side, the about, and the archive, and they would be not too sure.
Website actually turned into a funnel, like for how you've seen marketing funnel websites where there's like a product release. There needs to be like a protocol funnel to get
So,
people
right,
to
right,
add
right,
to.
right. I think for these questions, Joey, like I think it would just be looking at examples already done and just like we're not like reinventing the wheel. Right? I'm actually curious to see how other protocols do this. Like if I look at
One protocol is Foundation OS. They have a
Foundation
they don't have
OS.
a funnel though, like the open protocol that funds Foundation itself.
Mm.
That's only when I kind of remember.
Because is the question kind of like, because now I'm thinking of like, you know how there's like
This.
sometimes there's like a protocol and then there's like the lab, like the team that builds.
Mhm.
Are we trying to do it like that, where there's like public assembly, like the open source infrastructure, and then there's like AP the product, and then like how do
Yeah.
we like assembly press like the protocol?
Do you
Like do
have
we?
any thoughts on the assembly press name? Could be AP, potentially be assembly B1, public assembly B1. I don't like the name of assembly press, but I think it just makes us sound like we're printing like news, but we are in a way. Like
Mm,
um, it automatically makes me think of actual press machines and pressing out like content generators. So if I, where, how comfortable are you guys with people thinking of assembly press as a content generator, like press machine that, in the, what is a scenario that people just keep on minting presses? Like, is that the goal of assembly press, or do you want to see each and every mint of assembly press as like a stack?
Mm.
give its own life to it.
Yeah.
But that's also just, I don't think the name matters. It does,
Yeah.
though. It does. But I'm not swooned by the name Assembly Press, but I do like how it's APPA. I really do. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I like how there's like that connection. That it's like it's a name that works, but it also like fits with public assembly. Like there's it's not too far from it.
I like the suggestion of just calling it Public Assembly. But it's also
I,
like, okay, what's the difference between the protocol and the brand?
yeah. I tend to just like whenever I have these questions, just kind of Google like right now if I Googled assembly press, you're right. Like there's automatically is like something related to like publishing. But at the same time, it's interesting because I feel like it comes from a word that comes from like a different era, like way before the internet, and now we're taking this name that existed and like putting this new sense of meaning within like Web3 and Ethereum, which is kind of cool. Um, yeah, I don't know. Asking the question because AP now includes a backend plus front end, which is bigger than the assembly press as a protocol. Yeah, true.
So would it be like assembly front, insert adjective here, assembly blank?
Oh, okay. I see. I see. Which would be cool actually, because that would be like assembly is that core, like I guess noun that we keep like using for different things. I don't know. Honestly, I think it's one of um, those things that are just going to happen naturally. Maybe I'm just being like kind of optimistic, but I don't know. I don't think we should do like a brainstorm sprint on the name. It's like mutual. Mutual was called something else before, and then I think someone just said like cut off, like that Facebook moment of like cut off the Facebook and just call it Facebook. Mutual had that like just mutual, and it works. You know. And,
Oh, you know what? I didn't know Facebook was a book of faces. Oh my god.
it's funny. That's jokes. Yeah. Um, yeah, we should bring this question back. Maybe the next town hall. It'd be
Okay,
funny.
like Facebook, we are a assembly. We're literally just
People.
people assembling.
Yeah.
We're just assembling in public, bro. Like, what
But
else?
assembly, yeah, I was like, at one point I was like thinking about like public assembly and AI, and I was like, oh, if there's assembly.ai taking, and it was, I don't know, I just like, I think assembly is just a word that's like used a lot, and maybe we could, yeah, I don't know,
But
but
also, I think also one of our very, very core fundamentals is building in public. Um,
mhm.
and yeah,
Yeah, no, I like where this is going, but I feel like we need more people to jam on this.
yeah. I low key, I can go through this entire board, but it's not gonna make sense because, like, it's really gonna use my scribbles.
No, all good. Highly suspecting that was a dad joke. Lol. Maybe Joey, maybe. Someone mentioned that I have dad energy recently, which I didn't know how to take. I was like, yo, what are you talking about? Should we? So I could stay on for another 20-ish minutes, but should we have, like, going back to, I think the priority soon is to have something ready, press kit release ready for like FWB Fest. I don't mind working or adding some stuff to it or just making a Google Doc, but do you think right now the outline that we have is enough of points to add?
Like enough to go through the Fig Jam off live stream.
Sorry?
Are you saying are you asking if it's enough to go through the Fig Jam off of live stream? Because I'm gonna need more time.
Yeah, yeah. No, I was just saying like because like after the live stream, like I would want to like work on this again. But I think the first thing that out of like the voice of PA and the milestones, like I think the press kit could be more like timely, like something that we need sooner than later. Um, but no, I was just asking if right now in what you see in the outline, do you think there's anything else? Well, I'm going to zoom in, but like in the about us, there's like these dots of like things to add. Is there anything you think that's missing to it?
I'm just gonna add uh the the podcasts and stuff.
Oh yeah, okay, that could be good. Peace out, Joey. Yes, catch you on the forum. Move this.
You know what? This is literally just taking everything that's valuable off of the forum and literally just pasting it to the front page of the the website. Like I just
Yeah.
took PA roadmap post, which actually is a visual that they did a while ago that tells
Mm,
us exactly what people are looking for, exactly where the position of mutual is.
yeah. Huh. Oh, I remember this. Yeah.
But then also, it really is just putting everything in the same design language. Like, I just want to
I,
know what the PA font is. If it's going to be like Times New Roman, I'll just write
yeah.
everything in Times New Roman. And if the color is still pink, I don't think the color is still pink though. But I
Yeah.
the forum colors because we do have like or I'll actually you're just making me remember all this different stuff.
Mm.
I do have the forum colors.
I mean, wait, what's the forum colors right now? Is it purple? I can't remember.
No, there's
Yeah. That's green. Oh yeah, it is purple.
There's something that Niche gave me some hex codes for the actual brand colors that are now translated into like the forum, but I'm pretty sure it's really just for readability and like being, uh, easy on the eyes for like the actual forum.
Hmm.
Um, I can take those colors and then translate them into brand colors and then like synthesize all this information, like the PA roadmap or like the UNA agreement. And there's also like a welcome post in the forum that can be shortened through like ChatGPT or something to be
Hmm.
like onboarding. But we I think it's been a thing that we might depreciate the forum because they're all going to be even people talking on GitHub as Assembly Press is like building out more.
Hmm.
So we might depreciate the forum.
Yeah,
Um,
because
and
I
then
was looking at like just in terms of like the people that go. There are regulars that go to the forum, but I feel like it's not maybe the best place to.
the most context is in GitHub and Figma,
Yeah,
and homepage should direct people to the main Figmas and the main repositories.
yeah,
Like,
I agree.
if anyone
100%.
wants to get started doing anything, because
Yeah.
even Fig jams, they should be like maybe a Fig jam for contributor interest or something of
Mm.
that nature. Um, I don't mind Notion, but like I feel like some people just expect a Notion as well. And we did have a Notion, but we do still have a public assembly Notion. We just
Mm.
don't put people towards it anyways. And it was weird because we did post a Notion link like earlier, like in the
Mm.
post, but we still do have that Notion, and it's just really like we have a manifesto. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah.
like we have done all of this. It's just been like archived for so
Yeah.
long.
No,
Like,
it's all good. I think
well,
it's because I'm thinking about like, so for example, Water Music. There is this like they have like the website, and then they have like this Notion page, which is more like if you're a contributor, like this is the kind of steps or things you need to know how to contribute, like FAQ and all that stuff. But that's very specific to like if you're going to be doing like work within Water and Music.
mhm.
Itself, it's purely just like the articles and the research. So I think it's like, yeah, I don't know what I'm trying to say, but um, it would be interesting to see how this goes if the forum wasn't there. Because I think, yeah, if we're thinking about the direction where AP is the focus for like the rest of the year, and the main type of people that I guess we want to attract to PAs like developers, and if we reach them through GitHub or just like it's just like cutting the points of friction. It's like you don't have to go on this Notion page to like figure out the GitHub. It's more like let's try to communicate stuff on. Oh, did you just share the Notion? Nice.
Can you see?
Yes, I just clicked on it. Yeah. Wow, I never saw this.
Yeah, it's just like I keep on forgetting that these very, very, very vast documents of things that we wanted to do are just sitting right there on the internet in
Yeah.
different channels. Like there's it's so spread out.
Damn, I just never saw this. It's crazy.
But it's not like updated. Like that's not. We have to turn the language there into a language to fit in. Assembly Press is something that we've done because we've already did the DAO thing. We even tried to do like DX, like the if you'll see like things that we wanted to do, all of
Hmm.
the and we kind of need to take the current roadmap of the current roadmap that they posted to the forum, add this into
Hmm.
the section and just like transcribe it. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna watch this recording over just to get everything that I said off the top of my head and like
Hmm.
you know
Yeah. But this is good. Thanks for sharing this. This helps like just put everything in focus, which I think that's what like we're trying to do. Just like get into all of that like context from the forum and all the stuff, and just like this one page just could help. Yeah, I think this is a good template to build on. And same for me. I'm gonna look back at this recording and try to like
don't
remember
fry
what.
your brain. I think we do need to do like maybe two more sessions of these.
Mm.
But how can I help you be accountable? So after getting off
Um,
the call, what do you want to see from me? What would you like to?
Um,
Because it's a
I
busy.
think
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think, yeah, like if basically the one thing that I think that's an immediate um, like thing that we need to do is the press release. So maybe I will draft like I will take like the template of previous press releases stuff that I did before and kind of like put everything down concerning like public assembly, and it would be cool if you could like look over that and see if it makes sense and we could like riff on that. But I think that's like I guess like between now and the next live stream on this, that would be a core deliverable that would be good to have. And also, I don't know when the website redesign is going to happen, but for the voice of PA, like, what do you think? What do you think is like at the minimum something that we would need?
Um,
Um,
I kind of have really decided on the fact that we are mirroring like protocol managers, like co-managers, and
hmm,
similar to the Ethereum Foundation, it's silent. But if someone from the Ethereum Foundation were to talk to me, the voice would be authoritative, but
hmm.
also I still just need to think about it. Like it would be
Yeah, no
authoritative.
worries.
It would be not someone in control, but someone that's very supportive.
Hmm,
Um, and those are characteristics I would kind of like make into. I want to personify public assembly so that there's not just one person speaking about it. Public assembly has spoken for itself, and then again, it's also like if you can find all synergies through the products that we have, that is our voice. So what is
right.
PA? You know, is PA is inquisitive. PA is like supportive of the public research communities, like supportive of
Hmm,
exploration and research. But there's authority in keeping things permissionless,
hmm.
and they build the infrastructure to keep that there.
Yeah, I agree. That's really good.
And then
Yeah.
assembly is the thing that drives us and keeps us accountable for
Hmm,
all those things. So
hmm.
that's the last thing I will say. I gotta go though.
Okay. Cool, cool. I'm gonna stay for like maybe another 5, 10 minutes. But
Okay.
yeah, no, just clean up stuff, and then also I'll just like yeah. But yeah, thanks for coming through. Like this was helpful. You like expanded my mind of like what yeah, just cool. This is a cool session. But yeah, we'll continue the chat on the forum or like next steps on the forum, and I'll look back at this recording to kind of refresh my mind about stuff. Cool. I mean, yeah. Peace. All right, everyone. I'm gonna peace out. Thank you all for coming. Yeah, and see you guys at the next one. Peace out.